Hi, my name's Chaz and you're watching Chaz's Languages. In this video you'll learn noun gender, accusative case, possessive pronouns, and telling time in German. Hi everyone, thank you for watching and welcome to the second German lesson on the channel. Today we'll talk about noun gender, accusative case, possessive pronouns, and telling time. So first, let's start off with noun gender. In German, there are three different genders for nouns: masculine, feminine, and neuter. And the definite article forms of these are der for masculine, die for feminine, and das for neuter. And all of those mean the. And then for the indefinite article forms, which means a or an, for masculine and neuter nouns, it's ein, and for feminine nouns, it's eine. Now in German, there's no sure way of knowing the gender of a noun just by looking at it, whereas in Spanish, for example, you can usually tell by the ending of the noun. In German, you can't really tell, but here are some general guidelines to help you figure out what gender a noun may be. For masculine nouns, nouns that are males, such as der Mann, which means man, or der Junge, which means boy. And then many nouns that end in en are also masculine. So for example, with the noun der Garten. And many of the nouns that end in ismus are also masculine. An example of a noun with this ending is the noun der Kapitalismus, which means capitalism. For feminine nouns, most nouns that end in e are feminine, such as for the noun die Küche, which means kitchen. And then also, most nouns ending in ei are feminine. So for example, with the noun die Bäckerei, which means bakery, it ends in ei, and therefore it's feminine. And then all nouns that end in ung or tat are feminine. So for the nouns die Zeitung, which means newspaper, and die Universität, which means university, they both have either the ung or the tat ending, and therefore they are feminine. And then for neuter nouns, most nouns ending in o are neuter. For example, with the noun das Kino, which means cinema. And then most nouns that end in um are also neuter. For example, with the noun das Zentrum, which means center. And next, let's take a look at the possessive pronouns. So in German, the first one, my, is mein. Your is dein. His is sein. Her is ihr. Its is sein. Our is unser. You all or you guys's is euer. For the formal you, it's ihr, but here it's written with a capital I always, no matter where it is in the sentence. And then for there, it's also ihr. But as you see with this one, and for her, which is also ia, it's written with a lowercase I, but for the formal you, it's written with an uppercase I always. So that can help you clear up any confusion you may have with these possessive pronouns. So let's take a look at some of the possessive pronouns being used with some nouns. So for example, if you want to say my book, the German word for book is das Buch, which is neuter, so you would say mein Buch. And then if you wanted to say our dog, you take the noun der Hund, which is masculine, take pronoun unser and combine it with that, and it becomes unser Hund. And the possessive pronouns are just a little bit different whenever you use them with feminine nouns. For feminine nouns, you add an e to the end of the possessive pronoun. So for example, with the noun die Katze, which is feminine, and that means cat, if you wanted to say his cat, you would say seine Katze. As you see there, an e is added to the end of the pronoun his. Or with the noun die Meinung, which means opinion, if you wanted to say your opinion, you would say deine Meinung. And there you can also see that an e is added to the end of the personal pronoun. And the exception here is with the pronoun euer, which means you alls. Whenever you use it with feminine nouns, it changes to eure. So the e in the middle of the possessive pronoun drops out, and then an e is added to the end. So for example, if you wanted to say you all's cup, you take the noun die Tasse, meaning cup, and the pronoun euer, and then change it to the feminine form, eure, and it becomes eure Tasse, you all's cup. And now let's move on to the accusative case. Now, the accusative case is used in German whenever a noun or adjective is placed in the object or accusative place in the sentence. In English, we only use the accusative for the personal pronouns, but in German, they not only have it for those, but also all nouns and adjectives as well, and also the possessive pronouns. So for the definite articles, der, das, and die, they all stay the same in the accusative, except for der, it changes to den. And as a reminder, der is the masculine definite article. So let's take a look at a few examples of nouns being used in the accusative. If you wanted to say, you have the book, you take das Buch, which means book, and then put it in the sentence, you have, so du hast das Buch. And again, since it's a neuter noun, in the accusative it stays the same. And then for a masculine noun used in the accusative, we'll look at the noun der Käse, which means cheese. So for example, if you wanted to say, you guys are buying the cheese, you would take the noun der Käse and change der to den for the accusative form, and then put it in the sentence with you guys are buying, and altogether the sentence becomes ihr kauft den Käse. And for possessive pronouns, as I mentioned earlier, they are also affected by the accusative case. So whenever they are used with a masculine noun, en is added to the end of them. When they are used with a feminine noun, the letter e is added to the end of them. And when used with neuter nouns, they have no ending added to them. So let's take a look at some examples where the possessive pronouns are used in the accusative. And just a note, as you may have gathered from what I just said, for feminine and neuter nouns, they don't change whenever they're used in the accusative. Only possessive pronouns that are used with the masculine change actually in the accusative. So for example, with the sentence, do you like our apartment? You take the noun die Wohnung, which means our apartment, and it's a feminine noun, and you put it in the sentence, do you like? And altogether it becomes magst du unsere Wohnung? And then for a possessive pronoun used with a masculine noun, we'll take the noun der Bus, which means bus, and use it in the sentence, I don't see our bus. So for the possessive pronoun unser, you would add en for the masculine accusative form, and then put it in the sentence, I don't see, and altogether it becomes ich sehe nicht unseren Bus. I don't see our bus. And then for a neuter noun used with a possessive pronoun, we'll take a look at the noun das Auto. And if you wanted to say, for example, he is driving their car, you would take ihr, the pronoun for their, and then put it with the noun Auto, and it stays the same because it's a neuter noun, which doesn't change in the accusative with the possessive pronouns. And altogether, the sentence becomes fährt ihr Auto. He is driving their car. And then the possessive pronoun euer, which means you all or you guys, is a little bit different. Whenever it's used with masculine nouns, it becomes euren, and with feminine nouns, it becomes eure. And then as mentioned earlier, when used with neuter nouns, it doesn't change. So if we use it in a sentence with a masculine noun, we take the noun der Mantel, which means coat, and we want to say, does she have you all's coat? Then we would take the possessive pronoun euer, and used with the noun Mantel, which is a masculine noun in the accusative, it becomes euren. So altogether, the sentence becomes hat sie euren Mantel. And now lastly in the video, let's talk about telling time in German. So one useful phrase that you can use in German whenever you want to ask someone what the time is wie viel Uhr ist es? And that means what time is it? If you want to say it's blank o'clock, you would say es ist and then blank Uhr. Or sometimes in English, when we just say it's 7 or it's 6, etc., you would just say es ist, and then you insert the number of the hour. So to say it's 10 o'clock would be es ist 10 Uhr. And then to say it's 2 o'clock, you would say es ist 2 Uhr. To say it's blank till blank, you would say es ist blank for blank. And if you wanted to say it's blank after blank, you would say es ist blank nach blank. So if you wanted to say, for example, it's 6:15, you would say es ist 6:15. And then for saying it's 30:30, you use the phrase es ist halb with the number of the hour that's coming. So for example, for saying it's 7:30, you would say Es ist halb acht. And acht is the German word for the number 8. And as you'll see, you're basically saying it's half of 8 in this example. And then to say it's 12:30, you would say Es ist halb eins. And there, eins is the German word for 1. So you're saying basically it's half of 1. Well, you guys, that wraps up another German lesson. I hope that you guys learned something new and that you enjoyed watching. Please give the video a like if you did. Follow the Twitter page and like the Facebook page for channel updates and notifications, as well as more language learning tips and advice. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.